A few, a, a few. Let's get into it. A few good movies. A few, a good, a few, good, a few. Let's get into it. A few good movies.
All right, welcome everybody. Another episode. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I don't know about you guys, but the last 2 weeks feels like about 8 months. Does anybody
Yeah.
else
I've
feel
aged
like it's?
exponentially.
I know. I feel at least 10 years older.
Yeah.
What a.
It's
This has been kind of a crazy. It's been kind of a crazy couple weeks, but we're back at it again. I mean, well, I guess first of all, let's just say welcome to this episode of A Few Good Movies. I'm Zach Dame, and with me is Chris Porto
Hello.
and Sam Resmail.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So, I don't know about you, but to be honest, the last 2 weeks, since about Halloween,
Yeah.
I haven't really watched a whole lot of movies, to say the least. How about you guys?
I've done something interesting as sort of an escape from reality.
Okay.
Which
What's that?
I do this every now and then. I just started watching a bunch of Bollywood movies.
Oh, wow.
And
all right.
I'll get into like every year, every couple of years, I'll get into this kick where I watch a ton of Bollywood movies. And you have all these ones that you haven't seen. And I'll just go, all right, I like this specific actor. I'm going to watch all that he's done in the past 3 years. So I've done
Nice.
that.
I didn't
and
realize that you've watched so much Bollywood films.
I've seen a ton of Bollywood stuff. But I mean, I could specifically recommend some, but I think what I like about Bollywood is like, they're these massively long films. They're like 2.5 hours minimum.
Wow.
Most of them approach 3 hours. And
Yeah.
I mean, the whole reason for that is that they have these dance numbers in the movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
mostly
what
for no
I know.
reason.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
That's
what I
just
know about Bollywood. There's a lot of dance numbers.
And it's literally just made to entertain you. And most of them, they make no sense. They wholesale rip off Hollywood films with no credit given, because I guess it doesn't matter over there if you're gonna just remake a movie. And they're just fun, man. Like, they're stupid, they're fun. The action scenes are always over the top. Like, I've never seen a Bollywood movie that has a realistic action scene. It's either a guy punches someone and he flies through the air like 30,000 feet up into the sky or whatever,
Yeah.
or stops a car with his bare hands. Like,
Right.
it's never realistic, but it's
Yeah.
enjoyable. And the men are hot, the women are hot. It's ridiculous. And
So,
they're-
Chris,
they're super fun.
you might recall that I have a little bit of work experience on Bollywood films.
And I know because you worked with one of the actors. Well, you worked on a movie one of the actors I like is
Hrithik
in.
Roshan. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Wow.
very first job out of school, really.
He's like the
was-
Bollywood Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's they're around the same age. He does all of his own stunts.
Mhm.
He made a movie. It came out at the early this year. It's called War, and it's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
one you'd
like a-
recommend?
Yeah, it's like a sort of like a spy action film. And it's got just insane over the top action scenes. But yeah, that's a great movie. Check it out.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's how you've been kind of handling the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's interesting way of doing it.
Nice.
Fantasy worlds.
Sammer, what have you been doing for the last couple of weeks?
So full disclosure, I'm staying at a friend's house in New Jersey for the next
Are you
month
sure
or
you
so.
want to disclose that information? People
Yeah.
will come find you.
Don't know which part of New Jersey, but I'm sure some people can tell. So I've honestly been like, when I used to live here, I would watch sports with my friends all the time. So we've been watching sports, and I've honestly started watching the Masters, which is, I've never been interested in golf, and I went to the driving range last week because that's one of the few outdoor activities we can do.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. and really messed up my back. It was
no.
really
God.
sore the next day.
Yeah, golf is it's weird because you work muscles that
Yeah,
you don't imagine
Yeah,
you could work
it's
when you're
really
doing that.
weird. Yeah, especially when you're
Mhm.
doing like a large bucket of ball, like you're just swing, and then you're like, I'm terrible, so I keep hitting the turf, which just
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
messes up even more.
And we're just getting old.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
that, too.
That's
Hey,
true.
80-year-old men golf.
That
You
is
could do
Yeah.
true. I was
That's
that's
true.
what I like in the
It's
Masters.
an old
there's-
man sport.
There's a 62-year-old man that's doing better than like people who are 30 in the Masters, which is just goes to show golf is more technique than like actual.
Well, there's
athletic
that, and
ability.
then did you see that viral video of that guy who skimmed his ball over the pond?
I did
And
not
it-
see that.
It, oh my god, it's like all over the place in the Masters. This guy hits a shot trying to go over a pond. It just goes straight through the pond. It like bounces 3 times in the water, like a pebble being bounced,
Wow.
and then it jumps up onto the green and he makes it.
What the hell?
Wow.
Yeah,
I gotta
it's
look
pretty
for that.
insane.
Yeah,
Look
it is
that up.
crazy. Like, I've been hitting a few golf balls, and like they're able to like put spin on it, so when it lands, it just like sticks in the dirt. It's like throwing a dart somehow. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know the science behind that. It just seems fake.
I
you
mean,
know?
I guess tennis is similar. Like you don't really think about it, but tennis is all about putting spin on the ball too.
That's true, I guess. But
To
it
make
seems so
subtle
much
differences.
easier because you have such a big tennis net to
You
like.
have more control over the racket.
I
Yeah.
think it's the same deal. It's the angle at which you make contact
Yeah,
with the ball.
yeah, something.
Talking sports on a movie
Yeah.
podcast. Real good. We really.
But I actually have kind of just dove into I mean, I remember I was watching CNN for like 3 days straight when
Yeah,
this
man.
happened.
Never has a map of the
Yeah.
country been so
Yeah.
compelling and terrifying
Yeah,
at the same moment. My goodness. Yeah.
yeah.
I did a lot of puzzles. I actually did.
Oh yeah.
I did a 1,000-piece puzzle in a day and a half with my wife. That kept us busy for a while.
No
Um,
VR gaming.
I haven't really put it on in a while. It's just I'm not. Not that I don't like it. I like it a lot. I just haven't had time to sit and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
We've been binging Buffy the Vampire Slayer
Oh,
because I never watched it, and everyone says Joss Whedon. I do like
you've never
I do
watched
like Firefly.
it?
I did. Did you?
I never
guys watch
watched it
Well,
either.
the only reason why I asked that is because I remember seeing seeing a movie with you and Jess, and we there was like a rental service thing, and I was like, oh, what should I rent? And your wife suggested Buffy the Vampire the movie.
I've seen
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
that's it's a different. I don't think you could. They're not related, and
Aren't they
They're just
direct?
two
Isn't
different things.
Isn't it directed by Joss Whedon?
Joss
I don't
Whedon
think-
wrote it,
Oh,
and he
Oh, he-
created
he
the
wrote-
series.
he
Yeah.
created the series. That's more his.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I'm a big Firefly fan, and everyone always said that I should check out Buffy, and I just never have. So adding it to the list of a pandemic where I've basically my wife has just forced me to watch
all these old shows.
90s shows that she liked.
Yeah.
So
So what's the verdict on Buffy? Because I know a lot of people love Buffy.
I like it. I do like it. I mean, it's you could see where Joss Whedon started to develop like his style of writing and directing,
Mhm.
and you could see characters that then became like characters from Firefly and some of his later work.
Yeah.
It's still kind of dated. It's still kind of 90s, but yeah, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of. It's very fun. Like he does a lot of fun things with it, like
Yeah.
interesting, weird episodes, and like not taking itself too seriously. I'm really enjoying it. Maybe I'm just a sucker for 90s stuff, but
So what have you
They-
seen so far? Smallville, Buffy.
no, we didn't watch Smallville.
Oh,
but
you didn't
we
watch
Roswell.
Roswell.
that's
We
what it
watched
was.
Roswell, and now we're doing Buffy. There've been others. I'm losing
X-Files,
track.
of course.
I'm rewatching X Files still. Let's not
Oh.
forget. I'm really
I did see the
living in the
pilot.
90s.
I recently watched the pilot, and it is phenomenal.
of
Of
X Files.
X-Files?
Yeah. Just the
Oh,
pilot
wow.
episode itself is like almost perfect.
Is it like the first time?
No. I mean, I saw it when I was younger, but I don't really remember
Okay.
it.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting season 2 and 3 really pick up from there. Surprisingly, it gets
Yeah.
better.
It's
We
funny
should-
because they're supposedly making an animated series.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
somebody, I need you to tell me right now. And if you guys don't know, I'll have to send it out, ask our viewing audience to tell me, where does the movie fit in to the series? Because
God.
I've got to
Oh, I'm
make
not
sure I watch
sure.
it in order.
I think it's between oh God, is it 4 and 5?
Oh, I'm coming up close to that. So I
I
need to make
believe
sure.
it is 4 and 5.
I need to make
because
sure.
The year it started in like 93, right? I should know
Probably.
this. I was a diehard fan
92,
and a member of
93.
the
Yeah.
fan club when I was a kid. I should know this.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
anyway, I got to look into it because I do not want to mess that order up.
Yeah,
I'm
the
just really
movie's
gonna-
cool.
I'm gonna get sad when
It's
Mulder leaves eventually,
Yeah.
over. Oh.
because then
Yeah.
it just seems like, how did they even do that? How did they survive 2 more seasons after that?
Did he leave to direct a movie?
I think he left to do Californication.
Oh, well, that lasted a long time. So
I think
probably-
a huge
did,
part of
yeah.
it was the fact that they filmed it in Canada and he didn't want to
Oh, he didn't
live
wanna
in
do
Canada and be away from his family.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I think there's earlier seasons too where he kind of disappears for a little while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I mean,
It's good. It's good. I don't want to
I-
keep revisiting X-Files. but
diehard
it's
fan
good.
that I am, I've never even seen all of the stuff with like Robert Patrick and the non-Mulder stuff. I haven't seen all of that.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
that's-
don't feel compelled to watch it.
You got to be an X-Files completionist. You can't just stop.
And
90%
I
of
watched
way.
the revival and the series finale is god awful.
Oh,
It's-
really?
Terrible.
Of the, I don't think there's 2 seasons of the revival, isn't there?
yeah, yeah.
And I only watched the first season, so I don't
And
even
there's
really know what you're
good
referring to.
episodes in both of them, but like
Mhm.
the absolute final episode is the worst thing. And it's just like,
No.
I'm gonna spoil it. Can I spoil it?
Well, I mean,
no,
I
not
won't-
for me.
yeah,
'cause
don't,
I want to go
I
back and
kind
watch
of,
it.
Alright.
I kind of want to watch it too now.
Please watch it. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Please watch it.
I will. Yeah, but other than that, I really haven't watched much. I did watch a documentary a week or 2 ago called "Totally Under Control." The documentary about COVID and the start.
Oh,
of the
I did hear
pandemic.
about that.
Watch more things that'll make
I
you
know.
anxious.
Let's take our mind off of everything else in the election by watching a documentary about COVID.
Yeah. I watched
it
the
was-
documentary.
It was good. It was good. It's just weird. It's not like it's stuff that everyone kind of already knows and is aware of.
Well,
seeing
not
it in a-
everyone.
Well, not everyone, but
yeah.
in a 2-hour, like condensed into a 2-hour documentary, it just like really hits home how terrifying it is.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I took away from it. And also, it's like usually you watch a documentary like that and you're like, wow, like wasn't 9/11 crazy? I can't believe like we went through that. But we're going through this right now. It's still happening.
Yeah.
So to watch a documentary where it's like, that's so crazy. It's like, well, we're still in the middle of it. So that's kind of
Right.
nice. Anyway, it's an
But
interesting.
there
it's
is
definitely
there is
interesting to
some
watch.
sign of hope with the vaccine and
Yeah.
and
Fingers crossed.
if we can implement that well, then it might be over
Yeah.
by next year.
Man,
That
yeah.
would
We
be
just want our
crazy.
movie theaters back.
Right?
Yeah.
Get back to the Alamo Draft House. We were all just discovering how great Alamo Draft House was.
There is like
in LA.
it's like movie theaters are like the worst because you like a lot of restaurants and stuff have like a time limit to where you can sit and eat.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it's
but you have to stay in a theater.
You have to stay in a theater for hours. So
Yeah.
and all you're doing is just breathe, and you're with a lot more people, so you're breathing and that's how it kind of like sits like it's airborne,
Yeah.
so it sits in this room. Where
You know, one
restaurants are
thing-
moving and stuff, and doors are opening, and you're not there for more than an hour, so
Yeah,
airflow is
presumably.
getting in and out.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that AMC is well, they already started the thing where you can rent a theater.
Yeah.
Like a whole
That's
theater for a
awesome.
reasonable price. And I guess it did so well. They got so many inquiries about it that they're like extending it now. It was like a test
Yeah.
and now they're extending it kind of indefinitely. where you can rent a theater and like 10 of you can rent it for like the same price as tickets, basically. Like it's
Yeah,
not,
I've heard it's like $100 and you can have
Yeah.
up to like 20 people.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder, like, could that actually be the future of cinemas?
Smaller theaters with
Well,
less
theater,
people.
like you rent a theater out instead
Yeah.
of
And you pick the
instead of-
movie and
yeah. And so it's more of like you're doing it with your buddies to have like the experience of watching it on a big screen, because no matter really you can't get that experience anywhere else but a theater. But
Mhm.
instead of people, I think people complain about theaters and that people aren't respectful, or people talk through the movie, or it's not a very good, like,
Yeah.
Chris, you went through a long phase of just not enjoying going to a theater at all.
I mean,
Right.
I still don't even go that much.
But if you
Wow.
could just have the theater
Even if
to
they
you
were
and your
open.
friends, like
Now
if
that
you could
sounds
just,
fine.
that's kind of, maybe that's the future of the whole cinema
Yeah.
industry.
I
If
think
it were up to me, I'd watch a movie alone in a dark room with no one around and like no outside.
I don't
noise.
agree with that, man. It's a communal experience.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be.
so. As much as I didn't like Avengers Endgame, I saw that midnight release and just seeing these nerds like clap when
These
Brie
nerds.
Larson comes out. It
How
is like
dare you,
phenomenal.
nerds.
I don't know.
Sorry, nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, everyone in the
Hey,
world
I'm
who
one of
loves that
those.
movie.
I think
You're
nerds
all
are
nerds
cool
now.
now, right? Nerds, nerds
Yeah,
are,
I
are
mean-
the cool people now.
It really
Nerds
is.
are the new jocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something to be said about that for sure.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
it's pretty-
I think in my old age, I just like don't care as much about that as I do about just seeing the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I,
But to be fair, this has been how the way you've been thinking for like 10 years, so you can't blame it entirely on old age. You're just a curmudgeon.
I've been old for a while.
Well, I think we should get started talking about next week's topic, and
Yeah.
it was picked by Chris. So, Chris, go ahead, man. Let's hear what you got.
So the topic is prematurely cyberpunk films. Now I picked it because one, I'm really into the genre, and two, there's a huge video game coming out called Cyberpunk 2077, which has been delayed 4 times and is now coming out in December. So we're going to talk about cyberpunk movies, and hopefully in a few weeks after that, the game will actually come out.
yeah.
Think of it as
and-
wetting your whistle for what's
Yeah,
to come. you know?
maybe it'll be a list of things you can watch to prepare for the game.
Yeah.
And
Now,
I'm sure
Chris,
those are
I
all
think
over
you
the web
mentioned
right now.
that this game has been in development for many, many years.
The initial trailer came out in 2013.
Oh my god.
So, and I mean,
That's a lot.
this is like the game of the year as far as like anticipation.
Hmm.
Mhm.
The developers, CD Projekt Red, they did the Witcher games, and as we know, the Witcher is kind of blowing up right now. They're a Polish studio. They've only made the Witcher games up until now, and just based on that and sort of like the ambition behind Cyberpunk, the game, it's got a huge amount of hype behind it. It's like this massive city to explore. You decide your background, make your character, tons of like freedom of choice, and just like it's almost, and I don't know if they're delaying it for this reason, but it's almost too ambitious for like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It's kind of like the next gen gaming showcase.
I was gonna say, like 7 years ago, it was an entirely different,
Yeah.
landscape of video game consoles.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
7 years
they-
ago
are
was
they-
when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One originally came out.
and now they're about to become obsolete, right? Like they're
Yeah, this week the new ones came out.
It's crazy.
PS5 and
Yeah.
Xbox Series X. So,
so wild.
Cyberpunk will be out December 10th, hopefully.
I've seen so many ads for it. It does look
Yeah.
pretty cool. Like I
Yeah.
don't play many games, but I kind of want to play that.
I mean, it's got
Not that I have the
Keanu
ability
Reeves. Keanu Reeves is in it.
he's
Yeah.
in
So
it or
that's-
just promoting it.
No, he is in the game as a character.
Yeah.
Huh.
He plays
pretty
Johnny
wild.
Silverhand, who is a rock star in the world of cyberpunk. And I should preface this by saying Cyberpunk is based on an 80s tabletop RPG like Dungeons and Dragons, pen
Oh,
and paper RPG. So Cyberpunk goes way back, and it was originally Cyberpunk 2020. Well, we're in 2020 now, and I don't see any sign of Cyberpunk in our world, really.
The distant future.
We're almost there.
So the game is 2077. So maybe in 2077 we'll all have cybernetic limbs and be able to hack each other's brains.
Cool.
But, the movie I chose was the original Ghost in the Shell anime from the early 90s.
Indeed.
That's sort of, like, I would say visually, like, Blade Runner kind of set the bar for cyberpunk, like what cyberpunk looks like. You could go further back than that, but like, you look at anything cyberpunk made after 1982 and it probably all looks like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
But also, like, Ghost in the Shell takes that and does something else with it in the animation realm.
Yeah.
And it's sort of inspired a lot of stuff after that too, like The Matrix.
Which is my pick, although not the original because that's been talked to death, but Matrix Reloaded, which I think is an overlooked part of the trilogy. I think it's...
Right, because people look at it as a whole,
not
being happy with the ending, and they just kind of lump 2 in there with it.
And I do agree that 2 ends on like a not satisfying note, but I do think there is like a lot of cyberpunk themes that are very important in that movie particularly.
Yeah.
So that's my pick.
Nice. And then I wanted to pick something that I just had not seen before and haven't heard much about. So I picked a film called Upgrade. It's a relatively newer film. And kind of went into it blind and really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a good under the radar little sci-fi movie.
Yeah. I can't remember. It came out what year? Like pretty recently.
2018?
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah, 2018. So it's pretty new.
Yeah.
Pretty new. Yeah. So those are our 3 picks. Anything else you want to say about the cyberpunk genre, Christopher?
It's very cool. It's funny. I saw this. This is totally unrelated to movies and whatnot, but I saw this. This company makes these limbs for people that have lost their arms.
Oh.
They're called Hero Arms, and they're so cool. You can get these magnetic plates that go over them and make it look like Snake's arm from Metal Gear Solid 5. They have Iron Man for kids that like Marvel stuff or Star Wars themed ones. But like, I mean, that's a huge part of cyberpunk, right? Is kind of customizing how you look with these sort of augmentations. And when I saw this yesterday, I'm like, okay, maybe we are kind of in a cyberpunk world where someone who is disadvantaged can like empower themselves with these badass arms.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're very cool.
It's just not elective yet. Well, maybe it even is, but I don't know anyone.
Yeah, I don't know if a doctor will. You can't go and say, remove my arm. So I can.
Yeah.
By the way, have you guys ever seen that Jeff Goldblum commercial with I think it's for apartments or something?
Yep, that's
and
what
apartment.com or something.
And they're like, I'm like scaring everyone with my fingers right now. They're like typing really fast, and they type so fast, or like they need to.
They have finger extensions.
They have like another finger, so they can type even faster.
Yeah.
That's
So
in the
there you
Ghost
go.
in the Shell movie, the live
Right,
action
maybe they
one.
stole it from the Ghost in the Shell movie.
They've got she's typing and her hands open up and there's like these little metal I don't even know what they are, like attachments come out and there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, I definitely remember that imagery.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I mean, there are definitely certain ways in which present day is semi-cyberpunk. I mean, just a couple of months ago with the fires, some cities looked like cyberpunk film. I mean, the smoke-filled cities
it was like
LA.
beautifully scary.
And everything is
Beautifully
controlled
scary.
by the corporation, so
It's true.
we're heading
There
there.
are-
Shinra.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon, man.
I'm just
What-
waiting for
what
like
doesn't it do?
cities skyscrapers that go so high you're up in the clouds and like all the detritus lives below the clouds and
Fifth
that's where
Element
it's all rough.
style.
yeah, I'd love to know it's like
Hey,
down-
Fifth Element, there's a cyberpunk film.
Yeah.
I think we mention it.
Chris, how did you not pick that one?
I'm saving
It's
that.
your favorite movie.
I mean, it's
that
one
right?
of them.
Movies.
It's for sure one of them.
Oh wow.
I think Fifth
Multi-pass.
It is cyberpunk-ish, but also it's like this very vibrant sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That maybe fits into another category that we pick another day.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Well, I think
Saving
that
it.
about wraps it up for this episode. Sammer, why don't you tell everybody where they can find us online?
So you can find us on Twitter at A Few Good Movies P, and then on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, it's A Few Good Movies Pod. And then feel free to email us at afewgoodmoviespod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Excellent. All right. Well, our next episode, Cyberpunk, will be out next Monday, so look out for that. And we will see you next time on A Few Good Movies.
See ya.
Bye-bye.